Good evening, everybody. This KB5MIQ Big Boy. We got two subjects we're going to cover tonight. One, I don't know if y'all remember, I did get a real good picture of it when I was talking about when we done our practice field day in November. Jeff, WD5HKV, made us a homemade rotatable dipole. And what he did, he just took a standard homemade dipole and laid it out on a piece of bamboo fishing pole, wire tied it to it, and then put it on a mast where we could rotate it down there. Tim wasn't open that day. We never got a chance to use it. He's been wanting to play with it a little bit. So tonight he's going back down to the camp when we do our round table, and we're going to do some experimenting with that antenna. And I'm going to shoot some video of that while we're working on it tonight. And like to show stuff like this, to show how easy it is to build antennas, especially for 10 meters and 2 meters. I mean, he got nothing in this thing. Standard homemade dipole, center conductor fed to one side, braid fed to the other, coax down to the radio. He's got a good SWR on it. He cut it for 28,450, and we're going to see how it works tonight. Then I'm going to plug some video and a couple of pictures in. W5 DLX Cody is the younger version of our trio here. Is really good with computers, and he has bought a 3D printer, and he made a set of the I don't know what you would call them, guards that people put on 891. So I know him and Jeff both run an 891, and they both wanted some kind of side guard on it because those knobs stick out there kind of in front, and they both use that radio portable. And he done a fine job printing some side guards for the radios. I got a video of that. And he's also done some printing of some replacement knobs for a Helicrafter's receiver Jeff's rebuilding. So it's really a good tool to have if you're good with computers. Now, being a boomer, me and Jeff aren't as good at computers as Cody is, but he's doing some real good work with that 3D printer, and I think you'll enjoy seeing that's what he's made and the video on that. So I'm going to plug those videos of us talking in here in a minute on the end of this video. And then I'll plug those in, and Ham Radio Cat, the thumbnail, will be the last thing you see. I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I appreciate all everybody who subscribed to the channel. This is KB5MIQ Big Boy 73, and a standby for our antenna testing. All right, good evening, everybody. We're going to do a little working on radio here with Jeff on this homemade dipole. WD5HKV, KB5MIQ. Just tell me what you're on and what power you're running.
KB5MIQ, WD5HKV. On a Yaesu FT891, and I'm running it portable right now. Got a dipole up about 20 feet in the air, and made it where it's rotatable. So we can do a little experiment with it this evening with directivity and whatnot, and see how it reacts to repositioning it and turning it, see how it affects our signals and signal strength and whatnot. And I'm running about 50 watts here on the 891. I've got it turned down to that, so since I'm on battery power, I'll probably stick with that amount as long as I've got a pretty good signal. What kind of signal strength you got on me?
You're a steady S8 and audio's full 5. I mean, your audio sounds great.
Okay. Is Cody in here? He not got in here yet.
He's going to be in and out. They're running late on supper. He's got the grill going. He's got the radio on. He's going to try to pop in and out. And also, I told Tim to text you any questions because I got my phone hooked up as camera right now.
So he's monitoring as well?
I hope so. He hadn't answered the text yet, but I hope he is. Tim's
okay, let me get set up a little bit better. Hadn't got it.
Yeah, but we're trying to get licensed. He's our shortwave listener.
I can tell the broadside of the antenna, which would be the direction that it would be radiating, is pointed at you. You're a little north east of me, where your quad on the phone, and then also the compass. And this is all rough figure. There's nothing exact about it. Just kind of eyeballing, figuring it. I've got it pointed. We're going to say I've got it pointed right at you. And what we'll do is I'll turn it some different directions, and we'll see what happens.
Okay, before you turn it, go ahead and give me a brief description of the antenna. I've already kind of described it, but I think it'd be good for you to describe it before I get it on this video.
Okay, this thing is temporary. Is 100% temporary. There's nothing permanent about it. I just took and cut a dipole, halfway length dipole out, and in order to make it where it was a little bit directional or rotatable, I put it on a support. And the support I'm using is just wherever I had laying around the house, and I just happen to have an old piece of bamboo or cane pole, and I've got it zip tied to that, and then I've got it kind of braced with some wood and whatnot, and zip tied all of that configuration to a piece of pipe that I've got it on about 20 foot in the air, and have it stood up and then strapped to a post where it won't fall over. But I've got a picture of it that I took this afternoon in the daylight from the base of it up, and I'll try to send, don't let me forget, I'll send that to you. You might want to tag that on the end as well.
W5DLX, Jeff, I got you a good signal here in decap here.
Okay, good copy. I think I'm pointing more at David than I am you. When I go to turn it, if you got a minute here in a minute, I'm going to turn it a little more northeast. I looked on the map, and you're about 30 degrees from my vantage point. You're about 30 more degrees to the north from David there, so I'm going to try to turn it about that much, and I'll let you see what kind of signal I've got right now, and then we'll turn it about 30 degrees or so, and we'll check it again and see what you get. And then David can do the same on his end as it goes away.
Okay, you're about an S4 right now. Good copy. Go ahead, W5DLX.
All right, y'all give me a second. It's going to take me just a few seconds to do this because I'm sitting here in a side-by-side underneath the antenna, but I got to get out and use the old Armstrong rotor on it. So give me just a second. I'll be right back. This is WD5 HKV41.
See, he's got his antenna set up in a flat top configuration, which 10 meters is an easy antenna to do that with and make it rotatable. A lot of us use inverted V's because we don't have a way to tie off both ends and make it a flat top, which does affect the takeoff angle on it a little bit. But 10 meter and 2 meter antennas are really fun to experiment with. He's set up at the location where we did our field day from, probably straight line distance from me. I'm looking about 20-25 miles, I'm going to say.
WD5HKV. So best estimation, Cody, this is about 30 more degrees to the north. So I'm assuming, just from guessing and rough figuring, that maybe I pointed a little more at you than what I was. So I'm curious what kind of
He dropped about 1 S unit on me.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so right now I got you a S2 to a S3, but still solid copy.
So the signal went down?
Well, it's just about the same. It's hard to say really. It's right there about a S3, give or take a little bit, but probably really couldn't tell a whole lot of difference. But good solid copy both ways.
What about you, David? Did that make the signal go down any or change, or is it about the same?
Your audio is exactly the same, but you dropped 1 full S unit. I got you to S7 now.
Okay, so I'm gonna get the compass out and I'm gonna point it straight north there, and we'll see what it does here. So when I come back, I should be straight north.
Copy that. KB5 MIQ. So this is one of the fun parts of this hobby is doing experimenting with antennas, and this saves you money. You make antennas that work just as good as buying one. You can invest that money in the other aspects of the hobby. My 17-meter dipole is homemade, and I've worked the world with it. You know, South Africa, Europe, everywhere with it. So you don't have to spend a lot of money on antennas, and it's also really fun to make your own antennas. Jeff's got a real nice little camp area set up down there.
Okay, so I'm pointed pretty much magnetic north there for the compass, best I can tell. I'll give you a count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. WD5 HKV.
Go ahead, Cody.
Yeah, you dropped about 1 S unit, and audio dropped down slightly, but I can still copy you, but there was a noticeable difference. You did drop down a little bit overall.
About your end there, David.
Yeah, you dropped on my end too. Steady S5, some of your voice peaks S6. Audio's still good, but you dropped to at least, you've gone from an S8 to a steady S5.
Okay, so I'm just rough figuring. I'm about 30 degrees off of you. Cody, you're to the north. You're more to my northeast, or I'm sorry, northwest. So I'm about 30 degrees off of you, and probably about 60 or so degrees off of you, David. So that just can tell us a little bit that we're, it's all rough. There's nothing scientific here, but we're just getting some practical knowledge here. So the fact that we turned it did make a difference on the signal strength, but it's still well within the radiated pattern of the antenna, the strongest point on it. So y'all are both evidently still getting a good signal. So probably what I'm going to do here this time, I'm fixing to point it, try to get you off to the end of it. I'm going to kind of point it southwest. Pretty good bit, and we'll see what kind of difference that makes. I'll kind of put y'all off on the end of it that way.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, give me just a second. I'll be right back.
And Jeff's been building his antennas ever since he got into this hobby, and he's the one that got me into building antennas and helping Cody out with his too. So it's a lot of fun. And I say 10 meter, 6 meter, 2 meter, real easy to build some good homemade antennas, whether you build a Yagi, a quad, or just a rotatable dipole. When you get into the lower bands, the dipole's so long, it's not practical to try to make a half-wave dipole rotatable unless you figure out a way to do it with traps or anything like that. But still, good experimentation, good fun part of the hobby. And he's going to send me a picture of this, and I'm going to plug a picture in here with it of the antenna itself also. This is where I wish I had a camera with a remote control.
Yeah, I see a noticeable difference. Your audio dropped way down, and your signal dropped down 1 or 2 S units. You're about an S1 to an S2 now. I can still copy, but you're really low.
Jeff, that's as worse it's been. I can barely copy. I'm getting about a S1, but your audio is way down in the weeds. So that does show the directivity of it.
Okay, let me turn it back, kind of towards, or kind of in between y'all, and I'll tell you what I'm hearing on my end, because it made a drastic difference here. WD5HK, we'll be right back.
He turned it off of us where we was working off the end of it, and you can see on the ground wave signal how much difference that made just in what we was able to hear. And when you're talking signals between ground wave and skip, they're going to be different. I mean, if that signal is skipped, we can still hear him just as good. But ground wave, it really makes a difference one being polarized the same, and two aiming at each other, even whether it's a dipole orientated east and west or at a slight angle or whatever. One reason when I put up dipoles, G5RVs, I always have mine broadside east and west, perpendicular north and south, and it seems to work best for me like that. I've also worked Central and South America off the ends of them too, but that's skip transmission, so it makes it a little different.
Okay, how about now? Did that bring it back up any or change it?
Oh yeah, you back to S7.
Yeah, same here. It brought it back up quite a lot, 75DLX.
Okay, on the receive end, I've noticed as I turn it back and forth between y'all, I didn't catch a whole lot of difference in the receive signal strength until I went all the way southwest and put y'all on the end, very end of the radiator, of the antenna. So y'all were actually perpendicular to the antenna there, to the radiated part of it. And y'all signal fell completely out, your audio fell way down. And you know how we've talked about some flutter in the audio before here in Flutter? I heard a lot of flutter in your audio, so it was just some strange circumstances there, what was happening. So it was really interesting, though, to hear. Big difference, man, huge difference when the antenna basically went 90 degrees from y'all.
That's right, but if we was talking skip, it probably wouldn't have made that much difference. Where it's really playing a factor is on ground waves. Is that correct?
Well, now here's the thing. It might or might not. If the signal is that weak off the end of the antenna, there's not going to be much signal there to propagate. So I would say even in a sunspot cycle or some type of real highly propagational type situation, yeah, I would think it would be better to be able to point it some from what we just learned. I mean, you could probably work some, but optimal is going to definitely be on the broad side of it.
Well, that's a good experiment. Sure showed how it worked. And that's why I rely on Jeff for my antenna stuff.
And that tells you too, as we put up antennas at our house and our shack, if one of us can hear one of the others a little bit better, it may be because we're not broadside. You know, we may be 60 degrees off. I looked at my antenna, my inverted V there at the house today, and it's pointed pretty much due west. And that makes you about 30 degrees off of it, and Cody about 60 degrees off of it, broadside. So, probably not optimal. You know, if I could turn it a little bit and face y'all, it'd probably increase the signal strength and my receiving capability too. I don't know if Tim ever got us tuned in or not. Did you ever get us, Tim? Can you hear us? He sent me a text and said he was struggling trying to get us.
Okay, I'm gonna step off here this second and shut down this part of the video. I'll be right back. KB5MIQ.
WD5 HKV Friday.
Yeah, W5DLX. I'm going to step away for just a minute.
Hey, so that's a good antenna experiment. I'm gonna plug a picture of that antenna on this. Is this something we do to help each other out? If you can build an antenna and you got somebody you can talk to ground wave on it, it'll help you give you some idea on how to point it and how good your antennas are propagating. Appreciate everybody who watches the channel. Hope everybody has a great week. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, and there will be pictures and video following this. And as always, Ham Radio Cat will bring up the end. It's KB5MIQ Big Boy 73.